Hello everyone and welcome to the video, and today we're going to be talking about the best blood build in Elden Ring, hands down. So overall, Arcane is definitely a lot more powerful than any other build. It seems to be the running favorite for PvP as well, because of the amount of consistent damage you can do with the range added to it, and the extra blood buildup that happens so quickly. You can easily kill people. I was killing people in one press of a button. I pressed L2 once, and people were literally dying. 1v3s were incredibly easy as well, but with that being said, before we get into the video, there is one thing I want to say is that if you found this video helpful, make sure to drop a like and a sub to the channel, and as well as if you want to see any specific build in the future, whatever comment has the most likes down below, I will be making that build, so comment below. And the last thing I want to say before we get into the video is that if you guys have any trouble getting any of the items for this build, past builds, or any future builds, you can go to MMOEXP.com and get any item in the game. Use code ISARE for 5% off. I'll put the link in the description. But with that being said, let's get right into the video. So the first thing we always talk about is the gear of the build. So for this build specifically, we are running 1 Rivers of Blood plus 10. And then in the offhand, not offhand, but as a backup weapon, I have a Keen Dagger with the Bloodhound Step. The reason I have this is because a lot of things are undodgeable in the game, and when you use Bloodhound Step, you can pretty much dodge all that trash. For the offhand, we have the Dragon Communion Seal because it scales with Arcane. Then we have the White Mask, absolutely necessary for the build, because it gives you more damage for if there is blood loss in the area, which there is always blood loss. Then we have the Veteran's Armor, Banished Knight Gauntlets, and the Banished Knight Greaves. And as for the Talismans, we have the Shard of Alexander, Ritual Sword Talisman. The reason we are running this talisman is because it does incredible damage when your HP is at max, and it usually is because you're so far away and there's so much range. Then we have Lord of Blood's Exaltation and Rotten Winged Sword Insignia. And next up, for our Flask of Wondrous Physic, we have the Flame Shroud and Cracked Tear and the Thorny Cracked Tear. And for the stats of the builds, we are level 150, 50 Vigor, 20 Mind, 32 Endurance, 12 Strength, 30 Dexterity, 10 Intelligence, 15 Faith, and 60 Arcane. Now we're going to jump right over to the spells of the build, or incantations rather, and for the first incantation we have Flame Grant Me Strength. This is definitely an amazing incantation to have. And then we have the Rotten Breath one. This is just if you need a little bit extra damage. And then last but not least, we have the Dragon Ice, which is the Frozen Breath, and this afflicts enemies with the cold status effect, and as soon as you hit them with it, they will actually be suffering 20% more damage, I believe, from all sources of damage, so their defense is lowered by 20%, which basically in turn makes you do 20% more damage. So in this video I have tons of clips, PvE and PvP. I have me soloing Melania pretty easily. I affected her with Frost, and then just absolutely destroyed her health bar. I think in the entire fight she hit me twice, maybe 3 times. And I was able to kill her literally with ease. I mean, this is the hardest boss in the game, and I absolutely destroyed her with no help. So that should show you exactly how good this build is, plus the reach of it is just incredible. I just want to talk about the talisman choices real quick, just because I know that there's a lot of other builds with different talisman choices, and the reason why I have the one that gives you more attack power when you're at maximum HP is because, like I said before, there is so much range to this build that you actually benefit a lot because you're not going to be getting hit as much. So you have that flat 10%, and I actually believe that it's bugged right now and it does the 10% beforehand. I'm not entirely sure if this is intended, if this is an intended feature of the game. However, it gives you the 10% before all of the extra buffs, so when you throw all the rest of it on, it actually ends up being upwards of almost 30% extra damage, and it's absolutely incredible, so I would definitely recommend running this and just making sure you're always at full HP. You'll see the damage, it speaks for itself. It's pretty insane. Shard of Alexander is pretty standard for any build that runs with the skills of weapons, and the last one is the Rotten Winged Insignia, which gives you a great boost of your attack power with successive hits, which does scale with the Corpse Piler, which is the weapon art of the Rivers of Blood. Now, for the main part of the build, in terms of how you're going to be using it, it's pretty self-explanatory and pretty straightforward. What you do is you walk into a boss fight, or before you walk into a boss fight, you can throw on your Flame Grant Me Strength, and then you pop your Wondrous Physic, and then you basically just hit the enemy or boss with the Frozen Breath, and they will be suffering from the 20% decrease to their defense, and then basically you just spam your L2. It's really that easy. This is definitely one of the most straightforward builds you can use in Elden Ring, and definitely the best build in the game. Obviously Arcane, as you guys know, is very overpowered right now. I'm going to be showing you guys tons of clips of me PvPing, literally 1v3ing people, 1v2ing with ease. One time I actually killed a person. I don't know if I'm going to include the clip or if I even have the clip, but one time I killed a person by pressing L2 once. the weapon art going back and forth with the 2 hits literally killed somebody. So the damage is absolutely incredible. You just want to make sure that at all times you are keeping your health at maximum, because you're going to be getting a massive boost of damage. And in one of the clips, I actually show you exactly how much damage it is with the full combo on one of the trolls. It was one of the snow trolls, and I hit him for 10,000 in like one full combo, and it was just absolutely insane. And another thing I want to talk about was the reason why we have our points allocated the way we do. Because I know a lot of people live by max min, but I personally do not feel as though you're getting the most damage when you max min. You do to an extent, however, because of soft caps and the diminishing returns for each level, you will actually be getting more scaling and damage from putting a little bit of your points into dexterity instead of arcane. So that's the reason we capped it at 60, and then we put 15 points into faith just so that we can have the flame grant me strength and the dragon incantations, which are going to help a lot for the damage. As well as the dexterity, like I said, it gives you more damage for the rivers of blood for the raw damage. And through testing and just by allocating the points that way, when I was doing it with the weapon, it showed me that my weapon damage was going up. So you do get more damage by putting some into dexterity instead of just pumping all 80 into arcane. So now, like we do in every other video, we're going to talk about some of the downsides of the build. Honestly, there really isn't any. This is much like the sorcerer build that I just made. There's really not that many downsides of the build. If I had to say, it would just be the fact that it's a little boring. Honestly, I mean, you guys are pretty familiar with it at this point. You see all the time, tons of people are running this weapon, so it can be boring to go against. It can be boring to use because you're just spamming the weapon art. And honestly, if you're PvPing, this can get parried pretty easily. I haven't seen too many people do it yet. I actually have been parried pretty easily by this weapon, and I have parried this weapon pretty easily myself. However, since a lot of people are new to the game and are not familiar with how PvP exactly works and how to counter things, and the fact that parrying isn't such a big thing in this game just yet, you're not going to see a lot of that just yet. However, if you run into a guy that's trying to parry you, there's a really good chance that he will parry you, and it's pretty much an insta kill. So you just want to watch out for that. You kind of want to make sure that your attacks aren't too choreographed, because someone will read you like a book and kill you instantly. But like I said, that's not going to be a majority of players, and you're just going to kind of walk all over whoever you want 90% of the time. So with that being said, that's pretty much it for today's video. Like I said, whatever comment has the most likes, I will make a build video out of that one. So if you want to see anything specific, just comment below, and I always read all the comments. So that's pretty much it for today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.